Here to give you an update on the Zinchuck family. You'll see a slide with a wonderful family portrait. Chris and Kara, Hannah Grace, who's 5, Jonathan, who's 3 on the left in the background, and Isaac, who's 8. We all know that Isaac was diagnosed with seizure disorders, and he's been having hundreds of seizures a day that have made life really difficult. Seizures are caused by an electrical storm that starts in one part of the brain and then often spreads to another part of the brain. And depending which part of the brain it originates in, whether it's the part that controls your motor movements or your sense of smell or sight or how you generate thoughts, you'll get different symptoms. It also means that, when you have the brain going off in these electrical storms, it interrupts the normal transmission of messages in the brain, and it means that you never reach a deep restorative sleep at night. And sleep during the deep phases of sleep at night is when your body renews itself. Your gut almost every 24 hours replaces every cell in the lining of the gut, which is how you are able to digest food well. Your immune system restores itself. You're replacing the old worn-out cells. So this has really been a devastating thing to deal with. In addition, the family is affected. When you have one child with a chronic illness, the other children often feel that they don't, or sense that they're not getting the attention they need, no matter how much the parents do. So they can act out. It puts a lot of stress on the adult relationships. As a pediatric nurse, I saw many relationships fall apart when there was a child with a chronic illness in the family. So there are lots of things for us to pray for. And you'll notice the picture of the double rainbow. Chris, when he sent it to me, said the picture really doesn't do justice to what we saw. About 2 weeks ago, both he and Kara saw this double rainbow over their house at different times. And above the upper rainbow, the sky was dark. Between the two rainbows, the sky was even darker. And then underneath the lower rainbow, he said, was just brilliant sunlight. And both of them came back after seeing it and remarked that they felt this was God sending them a message of hope, just like he sent Noah the message of hope through the rainbow. And just like that middle between the two rainbows being darker, they had a week of very difficult times. One of the effects of one of Isaac's seizure medications is that he's very sensitive to light. So they've had to live with all the lights off in the house, curtains drawn, and even then he has to wear sunglasses. And that seemed not to be resolving, and when you're so sensitive to light, you can hardly open your eyes. That makes it hard to do schoolwork, as does losing consciousness hundreds of times a day. Well, during that time, Chris came back from work, and the curtains were open, and the sunglasses were gone, and it was just amazing. They were adjusting some medications, so they're seeing improvement. They are now, 3 months ago, they had a referral to the pediatric neurology department at the Medical College of Virginia, and they are now dealing with only the chairperson of that department. They were given a diagnosis of a little bit different kind of epilepsy. They found a baseline medication that takes care of about 90% of the daytime seizures and about 75% of the nighttime seizures. So all of those are great answers to prayer. In all of this, though, Chris and Kara have come to a decision that Chris is going to take a sabbatical from work. They just feel very strongly that they need to focus on their family and allow God to heal and restore them. And I really admire that decision, because sometimes that's a hard decision to make when you're serving God. There's a lot of pressure to, put that priority above or equal with your family. Unfortunately, this will be an unpaid leave, so they will have to raise whatever money. And, just because you're not being paid doesn't mean there aren't mortgage payments and groceries and health insurance and all of that. I used to smile when, the Bible said God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. And I guess that was their kind of wealth investment plan. Livestock were easily transferred and moved and bargained here and there and represented the wealth you owned. Well, now he owns computers on 1,000 hill, cars, bank accounts, retirement funds, and a lot of that God owns through us. So as we pray for the Zinchucks, if you feel led, and the reason I bring up that God owns those assets through us is that at any time, as a good manager, we can respond to him saying, I need those assets relocated here for a while to do what needs to be done in this location. So as we pray for the Zinchucks, we certainly want to kick up our prayers into high gear. And there are lots of creative ways we can pray for them. We can support them through letters and phone calls. Their address is in the directory. And then if you feel led to relocate some of your assets to help them out, you can just indicate that as going towards the Zinchuck support. And we really look forward and anticipate to see what God will be doing for them. Thank you.